So let me give you a reality check. Most of you watching my video right now are struggling to pay your bills. Most of you watching this video are living paycheck to paycheck. In fact, 61% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 69% of consumers in urban areas are living paycheck to paycheck. 56% of Americans say they're not on the right track to comfortably retire. And only 48% of US adults say they have enough savings to cover 3 months of expenses. Everyday people like you and me are struggling to pay rent, pay for groceries, pay for daycare if you have children, pay for transportation costs, and of course, insurance. If you think the only people who are struggling are those who are unemployed, underemployed, or working minimum wage, you are wrong. A lot of the people who are struggling are people who you would never expect.
He's just joined the list of thousands of people out of work, and he says financially impacted by all this. So the actor is selling his house, saying just like many artists, he's living check to check.
Yeah, but you have more money than we have, Fantasia.
You don't know that.
Okay.
A lot of artists that you see, they look like they have it. And we smile and we come out and we put on a good show. But in real life, some of them are struggling.
I don't own a home. I barely own my car. So I don't know what money y'all think I have, but I don't.
Inflation has caused the cost of living to increase, and a lot of people have still not even rebounded from the pandemic. Many of you have jobs, you may have even gotten a raise, but it's not enough to keep up with inflation.
Do y'all see this? Do you see that? $60.64. Do you see that? Do you see what I got? Some hot dogs. Boom. Milk. Boom. Some wipes for my
People all over the world, not just here in the United States, but in the Caribbean and Europe, they are struggling. So we're going to have that conversation today. We're going to be talking about what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. There are so many people who are broke and they are just so tired of not having enough money at the end of the day to live on. Y'all ready? You good? Let's talk. Hello everybody, my name is Rogan and this is This Bahamian Gyal. If this is your first time coming across my platform, I do reaction videos and social commentary. I also encourage my audience to have private conversations in public. So I want to jump right in and talk about that stat that I gave just a few minutes ago about how 59% of Americans are just one paycheck away from homelessness. That's extremely frightening for so many people. So a few weeks ago, actor Billy Porter made headlines when he revealed that he was being forced to sell his home, or he's forced to sell his home because he has not been working for a while. You know, the actors in Hollywood are on strike right now. The industry is totally in disarray right now because of this strike, and he is in the middle of a divorce, and so he couldn't afford to maintain his lifestyle. And I remember so many YouTubers jumped on that and were bagging on Billy because they felt he was living beyond his means. I don't know him personally. I don't know what his finances look like, but to the stat about how 59% of Americans are just one paycheck away from homelessness, I felt that was very important to highlight because he is showing that in his case, at least he has a home to sell. But so many people don't even have a home where they can sell to liquidate to get some cash. Billy said that he is not in the stage of his career yet where he has FU money, and as a result, he is working and earning, his checks. So he's living paycheck to paycheck like a lot of people. Inflation is starting to cool, but people are still feeling the pinch in their wallets. I know for myself, when I go to the food store, things that used to be a little cheaper, and we've heard all the stories about eggs and bread, all those typical bread basket items, they've just gone up. And I'm not buying for a family, I'm buying for myself. And I've been forced to cut back substantially on what I buy. And so many people have experienced the same thing, especially families who have children. Americans spend an average of $691 per month on food. That's $438 for food at home and $253 for food away from home. The problem that a lot of people are having is that the cost of living has gone up, but salaries haven't kept pace. Even if people got raises during this time, they haven't gotten enough money to keep pace with inflation. The average worker takes home $3,300 a month, and that's after taxes and benefits. So when you take out the essentials, what are you left with? And I'm talking about housing, because a lot of people are paying rent or they're paying for mortgage. There are individuals who are paying for insurance. You need that in some way, shape, or form, even if it's a small insurance You also need food and transportation. How do you get to work if you don't have transportation, whether it's public or you have your own car? A lot of these things are taking a big bite out of people's wallets. And as a result, a lot of people are hurting. You see a lot of Americans are working these ridiculously long hours or picking up extra shifts depending on what type of job they're in, or working overtime. Or there's the gig industry where people are either driving Uber or Lyft or doing Uber Eats or DoorDash. They're doing all these things just to make extra money because they're trying to keep up with the high cost of living. Just take a listen to what Fantasia Barrino has to say about the industry and the fact that a lot of people are struggling. Take a listen.
Yeah, but you have more money than we have, Fantasia.
You don't know that.
Okay.
A lot of artists that you see, they look like they have it. And we smile and we come out and we put on a good show. But in real life, some of them are struggling and we don't have it. I'm just now building myself back up. I lost everything twice. So I cook my own food. I don't need no chef. I'm from North Carolina.
I think that's really important to note, and I'm so glad that she was upfront about coming out and talking about that, because a lot of people in the industry, even here on YouTube, a lot of people stunt like they got it. And when tough times hit, you know, they don't have anything to show for it. It's not just the industry, it's everyday people who you work with probably, you know, are overextended buying houses or cars or putting their kids in private school or whatever, and they just can't afford it. And then when they lose their jobs, the bottom completely falls out because they have no savings, they have no safety net. I was on YouTube and I saw a streamed video from Kingdom Reacts, a fellow YouTuber, and he was in tears and talking about the fact that YouTube demonetized his channel and didn't give him a reason why. And so basically this guy, and I believe that he's a full-time content creator, he now has to go without money until December. He has to appeal the decision. He doesn't even know what he's being penalized for, what he's been demonetized for, but he won't have an opportunity to make money again until December if they allow it. And he talked about having $60,000 that he had earned, I suppose, last month, that he's waiting for, and YouTube is not releasing that money to him. So imagine someone like that, and that's a good chunk of money. Let's be real, $60K in a month. But even if it were $3,000 or $4,000 for the month, imagine putting all your eggs in one basket, having YouTube as your primary job, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're demonetizing you, and then you don't have any money, you have no access, and you can't even access the money that you had. Just take a listen to him. This is Kingdom Reacts.
Long story short, I'm just, doing my normal thing, and I get an email from YouTube saying that they demonetize not only this channel, but my other channel as well. They would specifically state that while your channel was demonetized, you should not create new or use existing channels to get around these restrictions. Not only did they demonetize me, but they also, again, decided to withhold my revenue. I got people, renovating my home as we speak based on a lot of these blessings that God was bestowing on me, but they just took it. I gotta call the contractor tomorrow. I gotta tell him that we gotta pretty much stop. When? I don't know. Hell, I really don't know. I gotta put a hold to my daughter's gymnastic class. I can't go to my family reunion this week, because I need to, I'm thinking about the revenue that I have, and I need to start setting it aside to at least be able to maintain for the next 3 months, which is really a stretch. If I'm being honest with y'all, I'm genuinely terrified.
One of the things I can say is it was really refreshing to hear him just be so honest about his finances, and you all can go to his channel and watch it. But it was good to see him being so honest about his finances and his woes, and talking about the fact that it's a real struggle and he's really scared. And that is very typical of individuals who don't have the savings. And I think he said at some point, I think he said he does have some money saved up that he's going to have to try to ride out. But I don't know if you heard what he said. He said he had to cut costs. Like there was somebody working on his house, so he had to just stop that and, take his daughter out of like gymnastics classes, that sort of thing. Lifestyle creep, and I'm not saying it in this instance, but lifestyle creep is another big thing, because there are individuals who are living paycheck to paycheck and they are making $100,000 and more each year. And these individuals, when they start making money, the lifestyle goes up. Rather than taking that extra money that they're earning and socking it away in savings or paying down debt, they feel like they have this extra money so they can, do all the fun stuff that we all want to do. But when tough times come, it's problematic. Back to Kingdom Reacts, though. With this YouTube situation, and we've seen some other content creators get demonetized, like Fresh and Fit recently. It really should wake people up to understand that you can't put all your eggs in one basket. You can be making a ton of money on this platform, and then YouTube can make a decision today that you're going to be demonetized, and then that's it. And then if you appeal and they don't agree, you've lost the money that you've earned, and you don't have the opportunity to even earn on maybe another channel or anything like that. I think it's crazy. At least when you work for an employer and they decide to fire you, they give you a reason why they fire you. And they also say, well, here's your severance pay. Here's your last bit of money that you worked for. YouTube is holding. I don't even know if that's legal to hold on to that money. And I hope they don't have any ads running on this fella's channel. But again, this is why it's so important, if you're going to put all your eggs in one basket, if YouTube is going to be your thing, that you are making sure to just monetize as many different things as possible. 60K is a lot of money. And I really felt for this guy, because if this was his 100% gig, whew, that's scary. That is hella scary. I want to read this statistic that I saw from the Lending Club Corporation. They said that, of course, more than 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and that includes more than 4 in 10 high income consumers. Again, that's the people earning over $100,000. So those individuals are also struggling. Even though you might look at them and think, oh, they're making six figures, they're also not, they don't have the savings. They also could be homeless if the bottom falls out, if they lose their job or anything like that. They just don't have it. What I see is a lot of older people too, who are more vulnerable, going back to work. I remember being in a clothing store, and a man who looked to be in his late 60s, early 70s was working, and he looked so frail. And I was just staring at him. He didn't see me staring at him, but I felt so sorry for him, because I couldn't imagine being in the twilight of your life. I don't know if late 60s, early 70s is your twilight. They're your golden years. Being at that retirement age and being forced, I would imagine, to have to work. I'm sure there are going to be people who say, well, maybe he just wanted to work to keep his mind sharp. I would take up a hobby to keep my mind sharp. I don't know that I would have to work this job. The job that he was working just to keep your mind sharp. I think he was there because he had to be there. And I see a lot of older folks going back into the workforce if they can find jobs just to make ends meet. And it's scary. It's incredibly scary, especially when we talk about the retirement stats and the fact that people just don't have enough money to retire. I want you to listen to, again, a few of these individuals who were venting on TikTok, because they were just talking about how the money is just not enough. There was a woman who talked about, having to pay for daycare, which is incredibly expensive, and just trying to work something out with her human resources department, and just to no avail. So just take a listen right here.
Most people in the U.S. cannot survive working only 40 hours a week. A full-time job does not pay enough for people to get by anymore. Most people have to work either 2 jobs, or they have to pick up a lot of overtime, or they have to have side hustles. But just thinking you're going to get minimum wage or a little above minimum wage and go work your 40 hours weekly, you're not going to survive off of that. You're probably not even going to be able to pay rent. Or if you can pay rent, what about food, the bills, electric, all that other stuff? It just doesn't make any sense. The U.S. does have a serious problem with most jobs just not being able to pay people enough, and something does need to be done about it. Now, I don't know what that something would be. Maybe somebody does, but it's just crazy that people will go to work for 40 hours, sometimes even 50 hours a week or more, and even then they still can't survive. And they're living well below their needs. They're not doing anything fancy. They're just literally trying to get some food and pay rent.
When I say months, I mean like 6-7 months without getting a pedicure. Y'all don't want to see this foot. Y'all ain't want to see this foot. True, I'm telling you. But you have to cut back in certain ways. Anyway, I have some questions of the day. And of course, I always ask you, if you feel comfortable, please answer. If you just want to leave a general comment, you can do that as well. But I'm always interested in knowing, because this is the test for me, you know what I mean, to see how people are doing. But are you living paycheck to paycheck? If so, how are you surviving? And have you cut back in the past 6 months on anything? What have you cut back on, and how has it impacted your life? I'm really interested to hear what you all have to say. What do you all think, again, about these individuals who are speaking up, particularly the Hollywood celebrities who are saying, listen, I can't afford a lot of these things, and I'm struggling, I'm broke. Were you surprised by any of that? Drop your comments down below. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, and of course, share it with your family and friends. Also consider subscribing to this channel, and if you do, please turn on your notification bell so that you are notified the minute I drop a video. I drop videos every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, leave the feedback down below, and let's talk. Let's talk in the comments section. I love you guys. I'll see you next week, Wednesday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Bye. Mwah.